Let's make sure this is all working. And looks like everything is good. So welcome back to my channel. I am Lewis, and today, or on this broadcast, we are going to be taking our little system that we've put together here, which is a Adafruit FT232H basically input-output board, which is SPI, I2C, and GPIO, and a little thermal sensor. And we are going to put it into this old camera body. So what we need for this project is basically a camera body. We got a little mount that's going to let us thread this onto a tripod. We have our board, and we're actually going to use this piece of plastic. We're going to cut that up, and we're going to make that a mounting surface that's going to fit inside here. We're going to mount this in the back and this in the front. So we are going to drill some holes using the drill press, and we're going to solder these things together. And once we have it all up and running, we will then end the video, start a new one in Python, and start getting this thing up and running again. So before we do anything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of the way we have this thing wired up. Probably should put it together online, and we could probably use a CAD program and have a documentation of the way it's all wired up, but for now I have a photo that works. Okay, great. So that is, we have that memorialized, so we can put that back together when we need to. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is get my handy little electronic screwdriver, and get our our Phillips head. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take apart our little camera house. So sit down, get a little cozy. And if you guys at home are doing some DIY work and you're looking for a mechanical screwdriver, I really don't know what this one's called, but I found it on Amazon for like 20 bucks, and it's got some lights on it. It's got a whole case of bits, and I really recommend it. It has saved my hands quite a bit of screwing and unscrewing. So we're going to just unscrew all these screws. And actually I have the wrong bit in there. And I need somewhere to put all these screws. I should be using my my project mat, but I have another project on my project mat at the moment, so we're going to just use this little glass container to put our screws in. So here we go. Looks like I got a viewer from somewhere. Feel free to say hello. Let me know where you're viewing from. I always like to know where in the world I am broadcasting, because this is the internet and we are broadcasting everywhere. I'm coming to you live from Malibu, California, and it is right now, it's around 11:30 at night. So I'm a night owl, and I'm finding most people that are watching this are in Europe. And when I'm in Europe, I'm up during the daytime. I don't know what it is, but my body just knows, doesn't know, I guess, where I am, and just knows when in the world I should be awake. And apparently this is not where I should be awake, or not where I should be living. But hey, there's a worse place to be living during this pandemic. Alright, so got that off. Now we're going to open the back of this just for shits and giggles. Look at that. That comes off. So, got a nice case. We're going to now put we're going to cut this piece of plastic to fit. So, let's get our caliper. We got our caliper. Let's turn it on. And we're going to zero it out. Alright, we're zeroed out. We're in millimeters. and I want to see how far apart these different screw holes are. But you know, I think first we're going to take them out. Just take out 2 of them, and they're a little bit smaller. Yeah, I'm going to take them all out. Just why not? Alright, after we're taken out. So between the threads from side A to side B, we are measuring at around 34 centimeters, or 34 millimeters, sorry, centimeters be quite a bit different. And yeah, 34 millimeters, that from screw hole to screw hole at 34 millimeters. And you know, I think I'm gonna try and use the edge of this as a way to wedge it in, and that is 36 millimeters. So let's take a look at our plastic. Move all our pieces off of here, and let's just find a corner here, and let's go from corner to corner. Corner inside. "36 centimeters. I need to mark this somehow. I should just score it. Alright, so that is marked. I'm going to mark it a little bit more with a silver Sharpie, just so I can see it when I go to cut it. Okay, so we got that, and let's get our 36 this direction. And then what we're going to do is we are going to don't know what that was, but I'm going to ignore it. Hopefully it was just the wind. That there is a serial killer out there making noise. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to score this. You're getting a nice shot at the top of my head. Okay, so we got that scored. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it. It's marked, and I'm going to get my straight edge, and I'm going to just go straight down here. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to mark 36 on the bottom, and we're going to give ourselves a nice straight marking. I'll bring it back into view in a second. Okay, and that's my mark. Okay, so now you should be able to see silver and silver. So I'm going to just draw one solid straight line through the silver. Okay, we got that. And looks pretty good. I should probably be using my CNC machine for this, but this is a nice quick project. Really don't want to spend that much time on it. So if you give me a second, I'm going to switch over to my mobile cam for basically, there we go. So this is the camera we have on the drill press. But before we get there, actually, you know what? It might be better to put these holes on this before we do anything, so it's an easier surface to drill. So we're going to take our caliper, and let me switch back our cameras to our desktop. Okay, so I'm actually going to take this, and our caliper was 34 millimeters between the centers of each one of those holes. So that means that I'm just applying pressure to my caliper so I can get a nice little dot in here. That's where I'm going to tap my hole. Just going to make sure before I have him. Looks like it's just a little bit south of where I pushed it. All right, so I got my holes, and what is the caliber of this drill? That's a pretty small little hole there. So let's take a look at our drill bits and see what makes sense in this. I think it's going to be 1/6 or 1/16. That looks like 1/16 is what we're aiming for on this little project. Yeah, that looks really good, actually. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to drill those. No, we're going to drill those holes second, but we'll come back to that. So first, we're going to switch over to our other camera, and the other camera is going to be on our belt saw, or yeah. So. Give me a second, let me switch that on. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna rotate this around and put it somewhere that makes more sense for what we're doing right now. There we go. That's a nice view. Pull my pants up. Okay. So this is our bandsaw, and we're going to just make a few quick cuts with the bandsaw. So the first cut we're going to make is this one right here. So here we go. I'm going to bring this down because we're not making a really big cut and less chance of hurting myself if I do that. So here we go. That's good. And now we're going to cut this off. All right, so that was nice and easy. So we have a little piece here, and now we're going to go over to our drill press. Let's bring you back on over here. Drill press, and we are going to clean that off, and we're going to change up our drill bit. Put this thing up our knuckle. And here comes the drill bit. I just gotta say, getting a drill press may have been one of the best things I ever invested in. more having to awkwardly hold something as I try and drill into it. Okay, so I'm going to bring this on up. Situate our camera. Go. A little cockeyed camera. That's better. Okay. So now what we're going to do is line up our drill press. These holes. Looks good. And you know what? I need some type of substrate for this because it's gonna just pressure itself right on through. So I need something that's kind of firm, that is junk, that I can just throw away when we're done. And look at that. Got a little box in the trash from Junior Mints. Just use that as my throwaway plate. So we're going to put that on top of there. Make sure our hole is lined up. It is, and here we go. Okay, got one hole. Turn that off, clear off our drill bit. And we're going to go for hole number 2. Hole number 2. And here comes hole number 3. And finally hole number 4. Okay, so that's all of our holes. Let's put that down here in case we need a little bit later. So we got our holes drilled, and now we're gonna go line it up with our board. See if it fits right. So let's change back to our overhead camera. Okay, so we have this. It should fit nicely in here. Which it does. And it looks like it's mostly lined up with our screw holes. So let's just, for the sake of it, let's just grab 2 of these screws. Use the 2 small screws that we were using to start. And let's see if this... Whoa! That one didn't like that corner. That seems to be in there. It looks like it might be a little short, but that's fine. We can make it do. It's this is just a test project. Not expecting perfection, especially if we're not CNCing this thing. Just eyeballing it quickly at 11:30 at night. That seems to be in. Look at that. It's there. It's pretty rugged. So what we're gonna do, I do want to have it in corners across, so let's just undo this and see what happens. Let's see if I can get this to... Yeah, it's pretty snug with those 2 corners, so we're going to stick with that. So let's take this off of here. Okay, so we got that. So what we're going to do, just for the sake of it, I'm going to take off this protective coating, just so we can have a nice pretty red to look at. Oh yeah, look at that. birdie. Doesn't really look red on that broadcast, but you can trust me, it's red. Okay, so that is going to mount onto here. Okay, so how are we going to mount this up? Well, first thing we need to do is get our thermal chip on here. So let's just take that off here. And we want to have it mounted somewhere in the middle. That. And how are we going to do that? Because it looks like it probably wants us to drill through. To put these pins through might make it the easiest thing to do. So let's see. We're going to use the drill press and we're going to just drill through for each one of those pins. So let's figure that out. Let's get our little Sharpie again. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we are in the center. That looks pretty centered. And I'm just going to take these pins. How many are there? There we go. This might be the easiest way to do this, which is I'm just going to make these holes for the pins to go through this piece of plastic. And yeah, this is not going to be the perfect project, but it's going to do the job. Let's see. Can we just drill through and not have to use this substrate? Yeah. Let's bring this back. Let's bring this up a little bit. Okay, straight my camera, and here we go. Okay, that seemed pretty easy. And let's cut back here. Okay, got those holes now. Let's see if these fit through. Like a glove. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is let's mark for the screws, because it looks like it's going to need screws in order to stay nice and perpendicular to this thing. And we're going to use, no, well, that's not what I wanted. I was just Sharpie on my face. Okay, so alright, so I've put two little marks for that. Look how we got little eyes. So what I'm gonna do now, just gonna mark, and the screws for this, they look like they're pretty similar. Yeah, they can use a very similar drill bit, but I think I might make it a little bit bigger. We're gonna go up to a 5/64 bit, just so we have a bit more room. I'm so clever. I know I am. Okay, well, I'm gonna change back to our camera over here. Okay. And let's get our key. Up. Okay, release. And go. Put this back. Put it back. Let's tighten up. Now we're nice and tight. Okay. Now we're gonna make our new holes. That's good. That's good. Now we totally have a little face. Look at that. I love our little face. Okay. Let's come back to our desktop. Okay. So now we could really get this thing like so. We got our little screw holes. We can mount this thing up. But before we do that, I probably want to map out where we're going to put our controller board on the back of this thing. But just in the meantime, I'm going to put a screw in here just for the sake of holding it together. For God's sakes, hold it together. Ooh, we can use a little standoff. If I have one that's that small. Let's see. Man, that is really a small connector. Let's see how far. What is the size of this thing? I think I'm gonna say it's a millimeter. We're going for almost 2 millimeters. I think I could argue 2 millimeters, but I don't think I have any standoffs that are that small. The smallest standoff I have is 6 millimeters. But a screw and a nut would work. So let's see. Are we M3? I think we're going to be M3 on these. So let me get an M3 screw. Got some plastic M3 screws. See if that's the right size for the hole. It's a little big. Yeah, it's a little big, so we're going to go with M2. So here we go. We got some M2 screws. So M2 and M2. And let's get an M2 nut. These M2 nuts are actually 1 millimeter. So I'm going to get 2 of those for each. And we're going to grab a 3rd and 4th for the final back side of it. Okay, and just for the sake of why not, we're doing this now. So we're going to take this screw. Let's get this. Just screw it on. Yeah, we got a new viewer. Howdy, new viewer. Where are you from? What's going on? How's your night going so far? Is it nighttime where you are, or is it daytime? It's always a question I have to ask is, where in the world are you tuning in from? Or is it a repeat viewer? I don't know. We got 2 viewers. So now the question is this screw long enough? I don't know if my screw's long enough. I maybe have wanted to get a longer screw. Yep, I should have gone with a longer M2 screw. That's fine. We live and learn. That's why we have a collection of screws. Eventually we'll have to go over what the workbench here looks like, because it's quite the workbench, if I do say so myself. Quarantine has been quite an interesting time of getting this thing put together and stocked and ready to build projects. In my normal day job, I build things, but usually ad hoc per project, and I don't usually have a nice collection of parts ready to go. But it seems like due to COVID, it made more sense just to have a bunch of parts laying around. And it looks like the screws I'm going to be putting on here are actually going to be metal. So I'm going to change up my nuts for metal nuts. Ha, that sounds funny. Get some metal nuts. Woohoo! Okay. So those are my plastic nuts. We're upgrading to metal nuts. So got a lot of metal nuts. Let's just put those here. We got some metal screws. Okay, so let's take these metal nuts. Oh, I'm handling my metal nuts. Okay. Hope you find this as funny as I do, because I'm enjoying the humor of it. Anyway, gonna put this screw through there. Let's put one of these metal nuts on here. Oh, it is morning with me. I am the same as yesterday. Greetings from Belgium. Hey Belgium. Nice to have you back. There are 2 previous videos now that show the rest of getting this thing all wired up and actually running in Python. I put a highlight video that goes over the last 10 minutes of really getting the code working and going through what the code actually is. So that might make it a little easier for your viewing pleasure if you want to see how this thing actually got working. So that is there for you to enjoy. It's also uploaded to YouTube in case that is an easier place to consume this content. It seems like my idea here with 2 of these 1mm nuts was a little overambitious. Oh yeah, also you went to the dentist, I think. That's what you signed off for yesterday. Hope that went well. Okay, so I'm gonna just take that off. We're gonna take 2 of these washers. Put that on there. That should give me about half a millimeter, or closer to the 2mm I need here. Okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm building a standoff in a sense. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So gonna thread that through, thread that through. That looks pretty good. I probably don't need a second one on here, but I might do it. We're gonna see. It can't hurt. I mean, it could hurt, but I don't think it's gonna hurt. So here we go. And actually, yeah, once I do that, I'm not going to actually attach it because we still need to drill the holes for our control board on the back. So I really hope that these standoffs are not, I mean, these washers are not gonna touch that. Okay, so there we go. And that is on there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to mount up our Adafruit control board. So I'm gonna put away these nuts. I can't keep saying that without laughing. These nuts. Put these nuts away. All right, I guess let's put those nuts away. So let me unplug this so I don't affect the computer. I didn't even check to make sure this was going to fit on our control board. It is just barely going to fit on here. but we're gonna need some standoffs. Oh yeah, we get to play with standoffs. I love standoffs. Just putting that out there. They're fun. I just stabbed myself. Fuck. Okay, well, now you know you can actually stab yourself with these little prongs. That's a new one. Ow. Give me a second. I'm going to go clean that up. I'm going to go put a Band-Aid on my finger so I don't bleed all over this project. So just imagine there's some music playing in the background, and I'll be back in a minute. Do. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to put a little sign up on my screen here that says what's going on, just so people don't leave. Okay, so cut my finger. Be back in 2 minutes. Okay, and we're going to select the font on this. We're going to make it bigger. Do that. And I don't know if there's a way to center this, but this is fine. Put that right there. Make this red. Is there a way to make it red? Red. Or orange. I like orange. Look at that. Cut my finger. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Okay. I'll be right back. Because now I'm bleeding. I'm really bleeding now. Yeah. And we're back. Look at that. Really did cut my finger. Not just putting that warning up there for no reason. Okay, so we are back. Where were we? gonna take a drink. Drinking some fizzy water from Hint. It's ginger. It's I recommend it. It's delicious. All right, people. So where were we? We were going to take our controller board and get this mounted up on the back of this little piece of plastic so we can solder up our connections. Oh, look at that. I actually stabbed this thing into my finger so hard I bent it. Ugh, that hurt. Not gonna lie. It's not enjoyable. Alright, so I'm gonna put this here. Should I put it here? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna mount that there. And that means we need to mark out where we're gonna put our holes for our standoffs. Get top of my head. All right, so now I'm gonna just mark this with my trusty silver marker. Okay, so the trusty silver marker has marked it, and I guess we can continue to use these small 2M screws. We have some 2M standoffs that we can use. That's fine for this project. We don't need anything super rugged. So let's go back to our life. This man works with plastic calipers. Ugh. You know, it is what it is. They're not completely plastic. Just this part's plastic. Everything else is metal. Don't be hating on my workbench. Thank you very much. All right, so here we go. Let's drill these holes. And yes, I'm using a box of Junior Mints as a reinforcement here to drill this hole. Because it does the job. And the Junior Mints were delicious. Alright, so got our holes drilled. And we're going to switch back over here. Okay. Text overlay more important than blood. Well, yeah, man, I cut my finger. It sucked. All right, there we go. So what we're going to do now is we are going to mount up this like so. And I'm going to get 2 more screws.
I didn't hear that. Please try that again.
No, Alexa, I am not talking to you. That was a good try, but I'm not talking to you.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not sure because I'm not talking to you.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, Alexa's just being a bitch.
I'd rather not answer that.
Alexa, I'm not talking to you. Please stop. She's not lonely. She has the rest of my family she can talk to. Hello, Neo Paris. Are you actually tuning in from Paris, or just you're the new Paris? Or where is the new Paris? That'd be my question. Alright, so we got that. And then let's get some standoffs. No, it's Masha. Hi, Masha. You could have had me going for a while. I wouldn't have known. Alright. That's the name of my... Oh, I didn't... How did I not know that? Okay. So I got my 2M 6mm standoffs here. And there goes one. We got 2. And we're going to get 3 and 4. Oh, I could have pretended to be a French person. You could have. Okay. So I got the standoffs. Now I need to get 4 screws and 4 nuts. So because we have the plastic standoffs, we're just going to use plastic nuts on those. And I need some 2M screws. There's 2 screws. We need 2 more screws. Oh man, the thermal image is garbage. It's 8 pixels by 8 pixels, so it is 64 pixels total. But that is what you get for $40 on Amazon. So that's another screw and another screw. Okay. Oh geez. And it's also only 10 frames per second. So this is not something that you're going to be taking out. What do you mean by 6? What are you going to do with 64? What I'm going to do with 64 is I'm going to mount it right up next to the camera that is filming this right now. And it's just going to give me a general idea of things that are on my workbench that are producing heat for future videos, so people can see things that are emitting heat when they're plugged in. Soldering and also circuitry, things like that, and just components in general. So, let's get these standoffs screwed on. I'll take off everything but one of them. Is it pre-calibrated? It is pre-calibrated. It's pre-calibrated. It works pretty well. It delivers everything in Celsius, and I can recalibrate it. There is a function that comes with the library for basically zeroing it out, but I've found that it stays pretty accurate without having to do any type of recalibration. This is just the first project that I'm doing where I'm broadcasting using it. I had done a project prior where I built it into a Raspberry Pi with a webcam. Have you checked if you have COVID with it yet? You know, I haven't, because it can't detect COVID. It can only detect temperature. And I right now I have a candle lit and I can smell that. I had a delicious dinner tonight. I tasted that, so I don't think I have COVID, because everyone that I know that's had COVID has lost their sense of taste. On forehead, thermal on forehead. Well, you have to keep it a little bit away from your forehead. Death crawls. Where are you tuning in from, Death Crawls? Don't say hell. Death Crawls. You watch Death Clock? 3:40 a.m. in Florida. Oh man. I'm sorry you're in Florida. I guess that kind of is hell. My grandparents used to live in Florida, and my cousins live in Florida. Are you one of my cousins? Wah! Florida is fine. I wonder. I do know a few people in Florida. I wonder if you're one of those people and you're just fucking with me now. You know, I don't know if this is going to fit very well in here with a cord. I might need to get a 90-degree... We're going to see. No, man, I tuned in randomly. Alright, well, fair enough. If you are one of my family tuning in from Florida, hello. It's been a while. Okay. So we're going to do this. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to mark what these are, because there are certain pins on this board that I need. I saw thermal on screen and was intrigued. I do a shit ton of optical crap with my work. Sweet, you can help me out with another project that I'm working on that I'll be using on here. That is building a 3D scanner. I already have been doing one for photogrammetry, but I am working on building one that is multispectral. So I have a chip that is sensitive to ultraviolet, a chip that is RGB, and a chip that is infrared, and I have some beam splitters for the different frequencies of those different respective wavelengths. And I want to be building a multi-chip sensor so I can basically record photogrammetry in full spectrum and analyze the objects after I'm done recording everything. So if you want to help me out with the optics on that, that would be great, if you're interested. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is on this board, we're using the I2C connectors. Okay. So I'll write it down. You'll see. It'll make more sense when it's written down. So we have the I2C connectors on here. So that is pins. What pin is this? This is pin number D2, D1, and D0. So we are at D0 is our clock, which is the SCK or SCL. Then we are using the SDA. So SDA with I2C needs input and output. It's muxed over the same channel. What wave numbers are you shooting for in UV and IR? That's a great question. My brain is not on that project at the moment, but I can. Mostly it's UV C, and we're not going to go super high up in infrared. It's going to be mostly near infrared. But where was I? Sorry, I2C. I2C uses one wire for data input output. We have a clock, we have power, and we have ground. So in order to get input output using this board, we have to connect the MISO and the MOSI connectors together. We short those together, and we have one pin coming out of that, which is going to be going into our I2C data port. So I'm just marking these on here because it's going to be upside down, and I really don't want to have to pull out my schematics on this thing once we have it mounted on the board. And we're going to solder it together. This is not going to come apart. And, you know, while we're here, I'm going to just check and see if I can find my 90-degree USB connector. You know, give me 1 second to... Oh, Thor Labs is the best. They are the place that I have been getting most of my components from. I also love the little goodie box they send. It's just like, yeah, you know you're nerds. Send us some food with with the stuff you're sending us. Yeah, I wound up also buying, we'll take a side break. I'll be right back. Wound up actually investing in a M12 6mm UV lens. It's not in here. It must be on the camera. But it's a 6mm lens for a board cam, and it works great. So yeah, hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm going to put a little message up saying what I'm doing. I am just going in the other room to go find my 90-degree USB-C connector. So BRB, getting my 90 USB-C adapter. Okay. So please entertain yourselves for the next minute. I'll be right back. We're gonna see what happens. So I couldn't quite find the 90-degree elbow joint that I was looking for. Not the droids I'm looking for, but I did find one. Do I have a UV camera? I actually have a chip. It's a CCD chip. It's a CMOS chip in the camera that is actually sensitive all the way through UVC. And you'd be surprised, it actually is pretty sensitive, given the fact that it's not a purely UV camera. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna fit. This might not fit in my preliminary design here. That's totally not gonna fit in there. So, how are we gonna do this? It would fit that direction. Man, I was thinking this was gonna be an easy build, but it is not. Because I don't think that's gonna fit into this camera case. Let's take a quick gander at this. Let's mount this on just with 2 screws, and we're gonna see what happens. Comes our second screw. For those of you who are Frank Zappa fans, here comes the water. And here comes the water. And this is not enjoying. The screw is not enjoying my mechanical screwdriver. By the way, maybe put like an outline for what your overhead camera can see. You mean for when I'm working? Yeah, I mean, that does make sense, but I also could just widen the field of view of this thing. That's the problem, is it is a zoom camera, so based on the project, we're seeing different things in the field of view. I hate these little shitty 2M screws that are plastic. They don't really like to mount, but it's fine. Okay. So let's see. Put that in here. If we had a 90-degree one of these suckers, it would work. Fuck plastic. Yeah, fuck plastic. But for prototyping, it's fine. Alright, so we're gonna unscrew that. That's not working. This idea of just having a standoff board behind it was a nice concept, but it's not gonna work. Okay. So I'll do this one that actually screwed in properly. Man. Okay. So you came out. And this plastic is a pain in my butt. Okay. That's unscrewing the standoff and not unscrewing the screw. Great. Let's try a slightly larger Phillips head. See if that works. Nope. Alright, so we're going to do it at once, which is unscrew the standoff. Okay, standoff off. Now we can unscrew this. Look at that, that worked. Okay. So, engineering attempt version 1 did not work. So we need to be able to mount our control board perpendicular to this plate because it's too big for the camera case. Cut it. I didn't have to cut it. It worked fine. I got it off. Okay. So, here we go. Alright. So what needs to happen now is we need to actually mount this like so. So how are we going to do that? I got some 90-degree elbows. Okay, no, not those. Okay, so let's see. I got these little... Got a 90-degree elbow thing. Could probably mount it to the back of this. And we could put our board on it like so. Or we could just do the old-fashioned thing and just glue the thing together. That is, yeah, cut tape. Could just tape it. I don't know. I think I'd prefer just glue the thing, glue it on there. I got a bunch of things here we can try. So let me regroup for a second and think about how we're gonna mount this thing inside of this. Oh, we also have a bunch of project boxes. We got a bunch of like random screw containers like this. These have screws in it. I could cut this plastic out and make a little 90-degree shelf for it. Let's see. Is it wide enough? It's not quite deep enough. I got more deeper ones. Let's go deeper. Oh, yeah, sorry. That was a little guttural. Here we go. So I could cut this thing. We could use that. That one's almost too deep. We have something in the middle. We've got to. No, that's not gonna work. Let's see. Gotta have something here that can support a 90-degree bend and give us a little bit of support. I really hate the idea of drilling it. Maybe this thing will work. Zip tie. Maybe. This little plastic part might work. Could create a little shelf like that and mount up that. I think I just found my solution. Yeah, so if we do that, hang it like that. I think that is gonna have to do. So I'm gonna break these little tabs off from inside of here. Don't need that. And don't need this little tab. All right. So I think I found my solution. We're gonna use this little plastic wire cap We're going to mount it into here, like so. And then I will mount my board to it. So let's see. Let's just get some holes drilled in this thing. Let's make them. What's a good distance? 16 millimeters. What's our distance on this? Distance on these holes is 18 millimeters. Yeah, so let's just give ourselves some 16 millimeter holes on here. Sorry, out of frame. You know what? You want to send me some metal calipers, you're welcome to. I usually don't have to use them because I'm usually just doing all this stuff in CAD, but this project is... It's just my nightly project. So I don't really have to design this thing out the same way I would if I was doing a real project for work. But if you want to send me real calipers, you are more than welcome to. I'll take them. Alright, so that is that. Let's give myself some 16 millimeter dots on here. Hey man, why not, right? Okay, there we go. And I probably should take the sensor off before I go drilling this thing. So let's take that off. I did handicap myself earlier tonight by cutting my finger. That does suck not being able to use my my pointer finger on my left hand. I am left-handed. Oh, we're losing viewers. Oh, well, that's fine. I still got you, death crawls. Okay. Taking that off. We're going to take these over to our take the screwdriver so thin maybe you don't need a drill press. I mean, but it's fun. I'd rather use a drill press and not have to exert extra energy. So let's turn the drill press camera back on. Huzzah! You already have the right going back to using my Junior Mints substrate here. Substrate's probably a more fancy word than I need. It's more of just a thing to make sure that I don't bend when I'm drilling through. That was nice and quick. So that's done. Now we are going to move this down a little bit. So we can drill through this. Not the streetest job at all. It's actually pretty pretty lopsided. So let's straighten it up. Got one side with an adjustable screw and one side without. That's fine. And we probably need to drill our 8mm things on top. So let me just gotta make 2 holes real quick. Alright, so give me 1 sec. I'm gonna mark this. You can't see what I'm doing right now. Sorry, I'll be right back. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now we're all got our things all screwed the right way. You can comment on my calipers again. May as well have made a CAD for the holes at the straight. You know what? I don't need your sass. Alright, we're back. Back over here. By the time we're done, I'll have a CAD drawing out of this thing. There ain't nothing wrong with trying to be a little precise on a project. Thank you very much. What's up, Masha? What are you, fire hands? Okay. Enough of these shitty plastic screws. I am going to get myself some metal screws because I'm fucking done with those. Here's some screws, and we're gonna get some metal nuts. Got my metal nuts. Okay. So we got a screw. We got a screw. I'm gonna put this through right here, and we're gonna put that on here, like so. Let's get a metal. Fuck plastic. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so let's get this all screwed on. Oh, how did I happen to do that? I grabbed the plastic screw again. Why are my plastic screws in with my metal screws? Somebody must have been here. Is the tiny board a crystal for timing? Which tiny board? You talking about this thing? Or are you talking about on this? It was the dog. Yeah, it could have been the dog. Or it could have been my brother. It was probably me. It's probably just past me not paying attention when I was putting things away. That is metal for sure. Okay. The little one. That is the thermal camera. That's the thermal sensor. So it's a 8x8 thermal sensor, which is not much, but it's gonna be something. It does something. If you check the previous video I posted, you can see it working on the breadboard. Okay. All right, we're cooking with fire. We're cooking with gas now. So small. Yeah, it's tiny, but it's also got like super low resolution, so it makes sense. Okay, so that's on there. Chimney. Go in the hole. Go in the hole. Now just come through this side. Okay. Oh, you know what? I did this all backwards. I was going to have the red side facing out, so it looked all pretty. You know, I actually don't need to worry about snapping four together. Also, the problem is that they're also only 10 hertz. I have, for another project that we'll be doing on here, I have some old analog Raytheon thermal sensors that are actually 320 by 240 in resolution and run at 30 frames a second. Those things are beautiful, but that's not what we're using. This is just a small bench project so that I can have them mounted above and just have a secondary input for people that are watching so they can see what's actually hot on the bench. Yeah, eBay before the pandemic had a bunch of thermal sensors on it, and I had been buying them up for a personal project. The personal project is a heads-up display for my car using thermal, and well, I have them in my stock, and I just need to use them. So we're gonna put together that project a little bit later on this channel. Okay, so yes, you're gonna laugh at me. My precision here was not the best. I kind of fubbed this hole up, so we're gonna just carve out a little bit more with my hobby knife. Okay, so now we have an adjustable hole, and we will use a washer to make sure this thing gets nice and tight. Do I have IR lenses? I do. Germanium lenses are not cheap, but they work. Actually, the nice thing is the sensors that I have built-on lenses, so they are all 50 millimeter 50 millimeter lenses on all the sensors. Ah, come on. Okay, I got fat fingers. So, looks like my idea is working. I just need to get this screw on here. Okay, so that screw is threaded. Great, look at that. And get another metal screw. Man, flubbing my finger up really didn't make this easy. Also, 3:40 in the morning. Why are you still awake? I mean, I know I'm usually awake at that hour. What do you mean they look like bazookas to the camera? I don't follow. So it seems like this is on here nice and tight. Just check one more time. That looks too small. Okay. Okay, that's nice and tight. That is nice and tight. Toy. Okay. So now we have the ability to mount this onto here. So let's see if my crack engineering is correct. Oh, gotcha. Oh, are you doing... So the optics that you work with are, you have zoom optics. You want things that are super close up. We're working in slightly different domains. I want things that are wide angle. I lost a screw. The screw is gone. It's fine. That's why we got hundreds of these things. Okay, so I might just take my little pliers here, tighten these up. Okay, look at that. That seems to be what we're looking for. That's good. And then we can mount this onto here. So let's get our standoff. Come on, little standoff. Do your thing. Also, isn't it Saturday now? Isn't it Friday morning? Or I guess it's Saturday morning. It's Friday night. You work on the weekends? So where in Florida are you? Because Florida is a big-ass state. You panhandle Florida? You Central Florida? Or you Southern Florida? Oh, you're in Orlando. Oh, you're in Orlando. Okay. My grandparents used to live in Orlando. I know Orlando. You know Church Street Station? Oh, near UCF. UCF, okay. Oh, Church Street Station. That's the first place I ever had alligator tail. I think it's alligator tail. Alligator, crocodile. Whichever one you guys got there. There used to also be a place there that had the, like, the costume from Alien. It was the alien. You could walk by it and it made, like, noise or something. There's a video arcade there. The place was the bomb. Okay. Alright, so get more of these. Let me get more of these metal screws. Okay. So we're gonna see if this design actually works. Are you from Orlando? Good night, good luck. Thank you very much. Good luck trying to sleep. And if you're interested in checking out the rest of this when you get up, please let me drop a No, drop a comment. Sleep well. Yeah, I thought that might happen. So the screw is a little too long for these standoffs. So we're going to need to cut these screws because 8mm is a little too much for these standoffs, so we really need like 4mm screws. So we're about to make a 4mm screw. Ah! No, I should have used my pliers for this. Okay, let's do that. Let's use these. Don't knock yourself out with plastic. Yeah, well, I got metal screws. That's what I'm doing. I'm cutting the metal screws. Go to sleep. All right, so here we go. Aha! Where did it go? Heard it on the plastic mat. And where did it go? Ah, there it is. Okay. Look at that. We got a small metal screw now. Let's try that again. This time we're going to aim that towards the ground. Ah. Caught it. There we go. All right. So now what we are going to do is, let's move those out of the way so you can actually read what it says up there. Okay. Let's try this again. Question is, I make them too small this time. Maybe I did. I think I maybe have made these a little too short. Freak. And habit forming. Yep. Too short. All right. So let's make sure these really are too short. They're not. It just wasn't going in all the way. That's fine. We also should put a washer on it, and that will make sure we're fine. Washer. All right, so for anybody new that's tuning in, we are making a camera box or camera for this thermal imager, and just got that assembly put together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to check to make sure that it actually fits inside of our housing. So we're done with all of these extra pieces. So I'm going to put those away. Have any questions, please feel free to hit me up in the chat. I'll try and answer them if I have the answer. Okay, so those nuts are going away. Screws are going away. This is garbage. take a little drink. Okay, before we solder this thing all up, let's mount it into what is going to be our camera body, and make sure that it actually fits. If it fits, we sits. Right? I guess in the cat world, right? That's the cat meme. If it fits, I sits. Oh, look at that! I cut down to one viewer. My jokes must be that bad. Is that one viewer, Masha? Is that who's left with my horrible jokes? Or did I even lose Masha? Yeah, but I'm about to fall asleep too. All right, Mosh. We gotta talk tomorrow. Hit me up, and we will discuss other things. But look at this. Oh, there we go. Got this in here. So this is nice, and then this is gonna go into here. So now we have that, and then this is gonna go on the back here. I think I'll cut a little slot through this piece of metal so we can have that sticking out the back. That's going to be our little thermal camera. So yeah. So I'm going to now solder this thing up. And I guess the last thing before I solder it up, I probably should cut this board to fit through here. I'm going to just cut a nice big old hole in this thing. So what's the diameter of this? Making fun, like the guy was making fun of my plastic calipers, but they do the job just fine. It's a 22 millimeter hole. And that should do it. I'm going to just bore a nice big hole with my drill press through there. And see you all tomorrow when you all get up. Or when you all tune back in. So everybody's still watching, so we're gonna grab our titanium drill bits, and we're gonna find the one that is gonna be efficient for this boring of a hole. I think, let's see, not quite there, but this one all the way should do it. Or this sucker, I've got this nice heavy duty titanium drill bit, and we're gonna use that to bore through this piece. So I'm gonna switch on over to our drill press cam. There we go, drill press cam. And what we gotta do is we got to actually take off the current bit. Okay. Turn that back to its case. Okay, and we're gonna really need to open this sucker up. Okay, tighten this. There we go, we're tight. And we have enough leeway in here to get we do. Okay, but with this, we are going to want to pick up our suction, because We have some metal pieces going everywhere. I'm going to turn on vacuum. Red brush. I really don't want to hurt myself here, so I'm going to just use my my pliers to hold this thing down. Nope, can't quite get there. So let's grab. Should help. The metal plate on the back of this thing is a little thicker than I thought it would be. Oh yeah, I know people will watch later. I am going to be on here until this project is done. Have a good night. So it looks like might be the best thing to do is to actually not drill through this thing, but cut out some plastic to fit on here. So what we are going to do is we are going to clean up from our metal shavings, and then we're going to use bandsaw. Okay. So, we're trying something different. Here we go. Let's come back to our overhead camera. And we're going to do now is we're going to use this little cover from a outlet. We're going to cut it down the size to actually fit on here instead of what we were doing. So let's try this again. So we're going to unscrew this. And unscrew this. And now what we're going to do, we're going to take this and trace it on here. So let's okay. So let's trace this out. All right. So we got that. Let's see. Does that seems right? Let's see. Where's that gonna fall? That feels about right. All right. So let's go back over to the bandsaw. And we're gonna cut this. Okay. Okay. So before I do that, I think what I probably should do is take a straight edge and extend my lines. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually just extending my lines on this. So when I cut it on the bandsaw, I have something to guide myself with. So here we go. Okay. Now we're going to cut this cut. 2 more cuts to do. Okay. And let's just do our big back over here. Okay, so that worked. So let's bring ourselves back to this camera. Okay, so we got that. Look at that. And now we need to cut some holes for the drill press with the drill press. So let's mark those out, and then we are going to sand this thing down. Oh, we get a chance to use our new sander. Maybe we'll use a sander, we'll see. So those are where the holes need to go. So yeah, let's take our drill press. We got drill press reset. Bring our camera back over to our drill press. Switch back over to our drill press camera. Those holes are going to be kind of interesting, but we'll see. Okay. And the next thing we need to do is sand down our edges. So this high 60 grit. We're just going to sand down our edges. I did get a belt sander, but I really don't feel like taking that out right now. Alright, so it looks like that's going to work. So let's just put that on there for now. I don't know if these screws are actually long enough. Not quite long enough. So we are going to go back to our 2Ms. Let's see. That is the right threading. That's good. This table has got some dust on it now from sanding. Okay. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to get proper head on here again. Too small. There we go. This is M2. Perfect. Okay. So let's get this thing screwed on. Alright, so now we got a back on this thing. And if we wanted to, okay, so let's just for argument's sake, we're going to mount on this back. Because we can. Use that. We're going to use that. Use that and that. Okay. Well, that's not the right size screw. Who are you? You are, and you are. All right. Let's do the bottom of this case. up to us to actually solder this thing together and then fit this inside of here, which it looks like it does nice and well. All right. So, next up is soldering this sucker back together. So I'm going to get myself some wire. What do we need? How many wires? We need 1, 2, 3, and 4 wires. But we need 5 because we are shorting one together. So I'm going to get myself some wires. And we're going to have ourselves a solder party. So right now what I'm doing is going over to my wire stash. I'm going to get myself some colored wires. Going to get myself a red, a black, and a yellow, and a blue. Great. Got some wires now. And what we're going to do is we are going to get our wire stripper and we're going to turn on our soldering iron. Okay. We probably should get our little assistant. Use this guy. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to solder up this crazy little project. Should not be very difficult. It's just the difficult part is getting it so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so first thing we are going to solder up is our voltage in. So we're going to take our red wire for that, and we're going to strip one side of this. Okay, and where is our voltage input on this board? Got a 3 volt there. Let's see. And our V in on this is on this side. So I'm going to give myself that much wire. And we're going to cut it. Okay. And we're going to strip this side. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some solder here. Tin our connector. So that should be 3 volts. That is our 3 volts. Not doing well with this right at the moment. Try this again. Okay, that's connected. Let's tin this side. So tinning our wire is when we take some take some hard solder and get it on the wire before we connect it up to where we're connecting it to. And just reconfirming, this is our power. Okay, so that's soldered up. Next we are going to do our ground. I believe that ground is this third pin. You know what, I'm going to tin this before we go over there. So let's tin this wire. Let's tin this one. Okay. And we're going to figure out how long this needs to be. I believe we're going into the next slot. Yep, we are. Okay, that's connected. All right, so our power and our ground are connected now. And next up is our clock, I believe. Oh, you know, I soldered that to the wrong pin. That's good. So I soldered our ground to our clock. We're going to try that again. And before I burn myself, I'm going to grab my tweezers and use my tweezers because I know myself. All right, so that is fixed. The next thing we're going to do is do our clock. I'm going to use yellow for the clock. I don't know why, but time just feels yellow to me. Make sure we're doing the right thing. Yep. So I'm going to turn this around. Try from this angle now. And we're going to cut this pippy like that. Okay. Strip this wire. Connect it. Okay. So now we are going to solder you. Let's tin the tip of this one again. Okay, we're going to tin the end of this cable. Great. And let's tin the terminal side. Okay, and we are going to maneuver this in here. Okay, that is all wired up. And the next thing we need to do is we need to connect the next pin to both of these. So I think what might make this easiest, I don't know if this is really recommended, but I'm going to just bend these two pins together. And we're going to short them together like that. And we're just going to solder it together like that. So let's strip the end of this wire. Okay. And how much do we need? We don't need very much. Okay, I'll put these back because I'm done with my wire stripping. I'm done with that, which means I probably am not, but we're going to just assume that I am. Okay, so I'm going to tin these two terminals together. And then I'm going to tin up here. Okay, looks good. This is looking pretty promising. All right, so that looks like that took to what I was trying to do, which was short those two terminals together. Tinned that. Now we're going to use our tweezers and we're going to connect up this last one. Okay. Now I'm going to turn off my soldering iron because I think I did it. I think I got this. Still have one viewer. Wonder who it is. Is that you out there, Belgium? Okay. So that is now all connected up. My question is, if I plug this in and I turn on my Python application, we're going to get an image. All right, so we got power. That's good. And now, are we going to get an image? Let's take a look. Let's just press play. Hey, and it looks like it's working. So this is from this thermal imager. Looks like I'm upside down. So let's take a look. I think let's see, how can I reset this? Okay, so it's working. That's me. That's me in thermal. That's me waving. All right, so it looks like this is working. That's cool. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off. Press escape. All right, and we're going to finish putting this into the camera box and test it out with our overhead camera. So I'm going to unplug from there, and we're going to consider that this is up and down. Okay. So I'm going to screw this thing together. It's that, and that, and then that, and that, because we have also this little piece to mount so we can tripod it. now we have our imager. We have our thermal imager. So this is all ready to go. And the next question is, how do we connect it up to what's going on up there already? So we got that. That's good. I think that is plenty for this video. So before we sign off, just gonna plug it in one more time and test it. Make sure that we really are up and running. So here comes the Python script. Before I do that, I'm also gonna just in the Python script, I'm gonna disable the text output. Okay. So here we go. We have an output. Yep, that's me. That's me in super low thermal resolution, running at 1/10 of, or 10 hertz. I'm waving. Okay, so that is that's a wrap for now. I'm going to stop the stream, and the next video will be of placing this thing up in the air, looking down at our workbench. So stay tuned. Thanks very much.